Well, hi, good morning, and thank you so much for joining me here. It's now July 27th. I was not in my shop yesterday because I was in another fellow's shop. I got a phone call from a woman a couple of months ago and said she was cleaning out her husband's shop. He had passed away some years earlier, and there's some stuff maybe I'd be interested in. Told me that she'd already had some other people come and pick through, but there's some stuff left. So she called me up a couple of days ago and said, okay, come on and get a bag of parts. Well, I got a lot more than a bag of parts because it turns out it wasn't really. It was the man's shop in his house, but it was actually remnants of a stereo store that operated for many years here in Aurelia. And so I got a fair bit of stuff. Unfortunately, most of the parts I got and not particularly suitable for a high voltage radio like these, but nevertheless, you'll be seeing some interesting stuff here over the next few weeks, particularly if I can finish this and get this guy done. And what is left? Basically, the RF alignment is what is left. There's a good chance, once that's done, the radio is done. So, I'm going to be doing alignment. Hey, now that's interesting. Let's look at this. Well, here's some of the things I got. So I had my own alignment tools. I bought a set off eBay some time ago after struggling for years with next to nothing. Now here's what I got from this fellow's shop. A bunch of nice alignment tools. Tell him what he's won. Well, that's not all of them. I've also got all these alignment tools. Yeah. Just in case that's not enough, I now have, because we're going to be doing alignment today, also all of these alignment tools. Oh my gosh. This is, you use a tool once and throw it away. That's how many of these I've got now. So I haven't even studied this stuff, but surely to goodness I've got the tools I need. Okay, I must. Except, you know what's happening? I got so many, I can't find my way through them. That's called a something of riches, the dearth of riches. No, there's some phrase for that. When you have so much stuff, you end up actually worse off. Okay, so now we're going to do the RF alignment on this radio. We'll be using some of those tools I just flashed at you, and I'm very lucky. That's the bottom line here. So here we are. So I'm going to set up the signal generator in accordance with this. I've done this once already, so it shouldn't be too tough to get this going. I got to warm everything up, drink some more coffee, and look at some stuff that is spread all over my basement here. Yeah. Okay, so one of the mistakes I made a video or so ago was just getting too much equipment going on my bench and then swimming around in the results, and plus the radio was out of sorts at that time, so wow, that was crazy. How about I go the other extreme? Try to use the least amount of equipment possible. Now this next alignment step is very simple. It's just an oscillator adjustment. So the oscillator signal can appear on my SDR. It's not there now because the radio is not operating. That thing you see on the SDR, who knows what that is? Why don't we have a listen to it? What is this? What is this? Okay, that's AM. That's sideband. Upper and lower sideband. That's back to AM. I don't know what that is, but it's a thing. But it's not the local oscillator of the radio. So I'm going to turn the radio on. I'm going to put this on shortwave band. I'm going to tune it up around 18, which is way up here. Okay, so it's pretty much on 18 there. 16, 17, 18. The numbers are a little worn in here. I'm still waiting for the new backing card to come. Okay, so flip on the radio, just watch the SDR, and what we should see is the local oscillator frequency should appear. It's being picked up on this coil of clip lead coiled in there. And that's just hooked up to the antenna of the SDR. Nothing fancy happening here. All these other wires coming out of the radio, they're going nowhere because I haven't turned on any other equipment. So Okay, here we go. Let's see, am I full of crap here? Okay, just watching the dim lights. Everything looks quite normal. There we go. Okay, let's give it the works during this process. And I should really let the radio warm up. Well, I don't know. Does anybody see a local oscillator on the screen there? Holy smokes. That's just screaming. Screaming. Now, when you stick a signal this powerful into the front end of your SDR, you tend to get weirdness elsewhere in the SDR. So we're tuned to 18 megahertz on the dial. This should be at 18,470. It's at 415, so it's way off. So we want to move it. And we can do that using alignment tools, of which I have millions now, or just this little screwdriver. Why not this little screwdriver? Sometimes you cannot use a metal screwdriver for doing things like this, for kind of obvious reasons. Other times, the stiff shank is very, very valuable in doing alignment work. If you have a floppy shank, do you have a I don't mean to be personal, but do you have a floppy shank? If so, you're probably not doing as well as you could. So I want to make sure I'm adjusting the right thing. It says on here 4B, C Node A, I read Node A. Node A, this long explanation of how to avoid accidentally aligning on the image. It doesn't matter when you use the SDR because you can see the local oscillator directly. You know exactly what you're doing and where it's going. So what we're going to adjust here is 4B. 4B is the front part of the oh, that's right, it's not a screw driver, it's a I'm going to do it with a socket. That's right, not this one. Fortunately, I only have 6 socket wrenches, so I can't get too lost on this. There we are now. So that, you look on the SDR, you can get an idea of what kind of variations occurring here. I'm going to pull the tool off. You see the tool is having an effect. So I'll take that into account. And now I'm going to put the SDR, I'm going to tune the SDR to where we want this to go. Put the red line where it should, where we want the local oscillator. 18,470, and I better make sure this is exactly on 18 because I'm just doing it with my own eyes here. I don't know who else's eyes I can use actually. There we are. Very close to the red line. Okay, let's get it on the red line. So if I put this tool on, oh, isn't that suspicious? Because I did it with this tool last time. Shame on me. I think I aligned it without paying attention. Now I'm making the adjustment here. Okay, pull the tool off. Well, that's pretty darn close. Didn't get closer. Oop, the wrong way. See, all those tools I have, is alignment tools. Is one of them a non-metallic? Well, that looks dead on to me now. Good enough, for sure. Fantastic. So that's it. That's all there is to it. Just use the SDR, make sure the local oscillator is doing the right thing. We could have some fun here. We will tune down to this fun. Let's have fun. We'll go down here. We'll tune in another frequency. Let's pick 7 megahertz. Okay, 7 megahertz. Now we'll go and we'll see where the local oscillator is by looking at the SDR. Let's see what we got here. Okay. So we're at 7, so it should be 7,470. So the red line is at 7,470. 7,470. You can see the local oscillator is nowhere near there. My options here would be to adjust it again. I'm absolutely sure I'm doing the right thing here because this scale, take a look at this scale. This happens to me all the time here. Can you see the numbers on that scale? Let me lower my camera just a bit here. Hang on. I'm going to ride the elevator down. Elevator down. Oh, elevator up and down. Okay, now you can see the dial a little better. This happens to me all the time when I'm doing these radios. Can you see that? I need a pointer. Hey, how about one of these alignment tools? Not the best pointer, but you see, so the inside dial 550, 600, 650, 700, right? And this is the outside dial. So I'm already confused. Outside dial, which is the AM dial. 600, 650, 700. See the 700 there? Can you see there's a 7 right down under here? And this doesn't really quit. If you look at the other part of the scale here, so on the outside we have 1300, but on the inside is 13 megahertz. It is so easy to get these two numbers mixed up when we're doing this work, I find, anyway. And I have booped up alignments because of this unfortunate numerical alignment on the radio dial. What should we do here? Most of shortwave listening is going to be done, in the 9 megahertz range. So why don't we go up? Why don't we do this? We'll go up. We'll put this on. I'm looking at the wrong scale again, just after explaining it. So this would be 10 megahertz right in here. Just making sure I got it right on. Let's do this. We're going to make this proper. So that should be 1047. But what's this doing here? What happened? I wasn't looking. So all kinds of weird stuff going by on the SDR. That's now 7470 local oscillator, and I'm back on 7 megahertz here, but off. This is 7's down here. Why? I get up around 10. There's another signal. Okay, now this could be SDR wonkiness doing that. Could be the local oscillators. How can it produce harmonics? This is below. Okay, we're going to make an assumption that thing there is nothing more than the SDR trying to fool me because it knows I haven't drank a full cup of coffee yet, so it knows I'm weak. So let's put it back on 10. We'll ignore the one that's on the screen again. Okay, there's 10. Now we'll take the SDR up to 10. That's why sometimes working in absolute precision here is kind of goofy because the non-linearities in the scale, which incidentally the radio designers can't get out all the non-linearity in a radio. It's pretty impossible. So what they do in the end is they construct a scale that will match the behavior of the radio. That's the last step in, I think, in trying to design a radio like this. Okay, so we're on 10. And 10,470. Well, there it is there. So we could choose to make this radio accurate at 10 megahertz center of the dial. Why are they choosing to have it done way up at the top end? Doesn't it make more sense to do it in the middle? Well, that's an interesting question, and I'm sure there's a technical answer for it, but I don't know it offhand. Why they want you to do this at the high frequency end? Maybe more precision involved? Somehow I don't think so. If anything, the scale is squeezing up here. Like, if you look, here's 6 megahertz and 7 megahertz, and they're that far apart. And when you come up the other end here, it's 14 and 15, and they're only that far apart. So that's part of the non-linearity of the scale. I think we should do it in the middle. I think I'm smarter than the guy who designed the radio and wrote the instructions. And since there's nobody here to physically stop me, 10 is going to be the place. Okay, so I need the... do I really have an alignment tool that can pop that is like a wrench? There are some in here. But I just... What's this? This is just a big tube. That's just a straw. Yeah, I don't think it's got a grip. Well, I'm going to go over these on my own time because there's too many of them. Here, it's an interesting one right here. Big long metal guy. There's no way it's going to fit. No. Yeah, I gotta learn my tools. Like the guy with 2 watches, right, who never knows what time it is. The guy with too many alignment tools never knows which one to use. Okay, now what's happening to the local oscillator? Jumping up and down like crazy? In strength? What happened there? I've noticed this before. This could be another SDR effect, where the SDR has its own level control, and it's doing its best to try to accommodate whatever's being presented to the antenna, perhaps much more than what you see on the screen. It's responding to a much broader. Look at that. Down we go. Up, back up again suddenly. I don't know. Don't know what to make of that. Okay, grab the tool. I'll just talk and not losing it. Here we are. Okay, just got to come over here for this excitement and put the line on top of the line. Okay, first of all, effect. Oh, much less effect here. Am I in the right thing? Yeah. So your lower frequency, less tool effect. That kind of makes sense. Oh, this is going a long ways. I'm turning it a long ways here compared to what was happening up at 18. Okay, there we are, we're on. I'm going to pull the tool off somewhat dramatically. Tiny little movement there. Let's go for precision here. The reason I'm going for precision is because 10 megahertz is very special. WWV is there. That's the American time signal. I don't think I moved it. And so that can double check everything, provided we can pick it up. We can't always pick it up. Yeah, I think that's just about got it there. Am I actually turning this? This is where you need the stiff shank tool. This and other times in life. Okay. I'm gonna have to change the rating on my video if I keep those kinds of jokes going. It was a joke. Am I the only one getting it? Okay. That's the thing, when you have an audience that's in a different place and time, it's a little hard to get audience feedback in real time. So there we are, 10 megahertz. Now, why don't we put the antenna on and just see if, by some chance, we can pick up WWV there. I think that's a cool idea. I have to go check a few things first. So I've gone and got another radio, but hey, I got an SDR sitting right here. We can always use the SDR. And what am I doing with it? I'm going to prove that WWV is there or isn't there. So 10 megahertz. Whoops. Okay. So for an antenna, I've just got this red wire here. We need a better antenna. So this is my outdoor antenna. Is WWV there? And I would say no. That's 10, all right. So we're not going to hear that. We're not going to hear that. Wait a minute. No. Okay, and just to further prove the point that we're not going to hear it, let's take a look right on the SDR. Do I want to take the SDR? No, you know what? I don't want to disturb the SDR right now. Okay, so no 10 to here. But there's probably signals south of there. Come back, antenna. One in particular. That's at 9330. Okay, so we're gonna try to pick this guy up. 9330. We'll do this in the most exciting way possible. And what's that, Jim? I don't know. I'm gonna put this on the antenna. What is already on there? We have the loop antenna for AM use. Okay, so I'm going to try to put this on. It's kind of a crummy way of doing it, but it will work. Okay. Now, if WWD showed up there, I would just be jumping. 933. So the way we're going to do this, I'm going to turn the sound off. I'm going to dial in 9330 on here as best I can, and then we're going to see if it's there. So this is a little bit tricky to do. Now you can't really see it because of the hot spot here from the light. So 9. It's quite worn right in this area. 9.1, 9.2, 9.3. Okay, what do we hear? How close did we get? Hello. Very, you see what I'm doing to tune this thing? I'm steadying my hands. I'm using two hands on the knob because the precision is so difficult. And now let's take a close look at where we got. What that? Oh my gosh, what's on the SDR here? There's stuff everywhere. Oh, snakes. Yikes. No, don't look at that. Look away. Look away from this SDR. That's right. We're going to look with the other camera. Oh, I know what it is. Okay. Let's switch over here to the other camera. It's way up, like 9330. I just did. How did that happen? I'm looking at the wrong scale, you dork. It's a multi-stupid here. Explain the mistake and then I make it. Okay. And I blew it too because I did the 10 up here. It's stupid. Come on. Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. Let's start again. Okay, that's got to be 10 megahertz. Okay. So, you know, there's a good reason for double checking things. Okay, now, so we're tuned to 10. I need to listen to it. We're tuned to 10. This time I've done it right. Oh my gosh. And you know, I'm really close to the bottom of my cup of coffee too, so it's pretty inexplicable what's going on here. 10,470. 10. So there we are. Red line's at 10,470. That's where we need to be. My gosh, if I hadn't double checked this, maybe even triple check it. Okay, Mr. Oscillator. All the way over. Keep going. No, you can do it. You can make it. Come on. Wow, okay, so I backed this thing way off here. And I didn't get there. So what am I doing wrong now? Did I bump the dial? No. The dial's definitely on 10. You know what? It could be just a touch off. It's a little better. There's a little parallax problem there. Ooh, I got a little closer that way. Well, we're right on the edge here. Let's go low. Let's go. I don't know if can I get any further open with this? Ah, there goes my phone. No, you're not a pest. Okay, gotta get my head back in the game here. So that was my mother-in-law calling to say that she can't get the internet on her laptop again, and she can't print anything on her printer again, and her TV won't work properly anymore. It's just a black screen. Oh my gosh. Oh, I feel so sorry for people who have no technical capabilities, and that's just about all of us, isn't it, really, to survive the modern world. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay. So now we want to check again that 9.33 and see how close we are. So let's tune it in. Still have the antenna connected. Do I? No. Yes, antenna is connected. Okay, 9.33. There he is. And other camera. Well, that looks like 9.33 to me. If you're looking at the right 9. Havana, Australia, London, Berlin, Madrid, and Japan, if you want to go over a little bit. Down here in Geneva, of course, none of these exist anymore the way they are. I don't know, you know what? I don't know if these... I'm shaking the camera. I don't know if those things were ever really accurate. Okay, so there we are. Now, that was the easy one. Now we're heading for the more difficult band, which is the broadcast band here. Let's go. We're there. 1500, 7A, 4A, 580, 7, 1500 back on 7A to check it out. No notes referred to here. And this whole note here just has to do with doing this one up here. Okay, so broadcast band 1500. This time I'll be easy. The big numbers are the numbers I will be looking at. Let me just stick my head in front of the camera here. Not quite. Get right on the money. 1500. Very good. Now we'll look on the SDR and see what we've got here. Here we are. Okay, I'm going to move this over a bit. So here's the broadcast band. We're tuned to 1500. Here, that would put the local oscillator at 1970 would it be? So 1500 plus 470 is 1970. Hey, that was a good year, 1970. There we are, very close. So we'll make a little adjustment here. Let's just look at the instructions, make sure we're following the instructions. 7A and then 4A. What are they talking about? 7A and then 4A. 4A is down at the other end. So we do 7A, which is the outboard. The outboard one. Oh my gosh, can I get all this? Too many wires here, dragging along. All tangled up. What a schmozzle. You have a schmozzle. You ever use words you're not really sure what they mean? Can't say I've ever looked up schmozzle in the dictionary. Okay, way down there is the screw. Now, hey, alignment tool, and I've got one out here, don't I? Don't I have one? Did I put it back? I think I put it back. I'm just going to get my old alignment tools here. In there. piece of plastic, so it's not quite as stiff as you might want. You can watch the SDR now. What's happening? Nothing's moving. Didn't this happen before? Well, that's interesting. I'm tightening it. Well, it goes down a mile. It goes down a mile. Wow. What exactly is this? This is a great big white porcelain thing. It's loose. I can feel the screw getting looser as I go. Are you going to make it? You're not going to make it. Oh yeah. Wow, it feels like the screw's going to fall right out. But there it is. Go back a little bit. Okay, so now we have the local oscillator adjusted for 1500. You know, just looking at the parallax here a little bit. Maybe I bumped this. Didn't I say something about precision? Not so important in these things. Especially, I got there. Wow, that's a capacitor. It has many turns in it. Okay, next one then is we go to 680 and we do the same thing. No, 580. No, we can go anywhere down there because I'm using an SDR. So we'll go to follow their instructions. 580. Just making sure I'm dead on money. There we are. 580 now. Local oscillator should be, oh my god, those are tough numbers to add. 580 and 470. $1,010,000. 580. 580, 470. $10.50. Wow, my ever slow in the processing department. $10.50. Well, that's just about where this is, isn't it? Let's take a look. So it should be here, just off a little wee bit. So we'll do a little wee bit here with this guy again. Oh, wait a minute. No. 4A. Yeah, 4A. Okay, we're doing this guy. Doesn't really make sense. Because wasn't this the oscillator side here? This is the one I adjusted for shortwave. And now I'm going to adjust this one. Oscillator. Usually one of these is the oscillator and the other one is not. Well, I'm not reading this right. 7A and 4A. 4A. Oh, up at 1500. Oh, look at that stupid guy. 1500. So you're doing the oscillator and you're doing the antenna tuning. We can go back there in a minute. So I want to do number 7 here. Number 7. And where is number 7? Number 7 is just the other one right beside it. The other one, the inboard one. Okay, I'm ready. Watch the action on the SDR. Lovely. There we are. And now we should go back. Now get down to 580. That's where we are. 580, Jim. Come on, get your house in order here. Doesn't really. Oh my gosh, what has happened to me? No, there's more than one number on the page here, and that's what's happening. How come they got more than one number here? Just one number would be good enough for me. So we're at 580, and we just did 7. Right, I'm saving the 4A for later. So we're back to 1500 and do those two. Back to 1500. 1500 very, very accurately. There we are. 1500. 4A, which is this guy here. Wait a minute now, this 4A is not for moving the local oscillator, it's for making the response louder. Oh, I'm not set up for that because I'm using an SDR. So what if we just listen to the noise? This is dumb. Listen to the noise. Quieter. It's just louder all the way. Back in a little bit. Nothing much happening here. And I just did that at the right frequency. And we want to check and see if this is still 1500. So whatever it would be. 1600. Okay. Local oscillator is at here. So it's at 1974. It should be at 1970. How far off is that? It's a teeny, teeny, tiny amount. You know, it's the amount that would be in the width of the tuning pointer. Pretty sure. Okay, so I've now tuned it so electronically it's tuned properly, but what does the dial say? The dial's, yeah. You know, for that precision nighttime tuning. It's just a hair off. So to correct that, we do 7A. 7A. 1500 to correct that. Quarter turn of the screw. There it is. Okay, fantastic. So this guy is, well, he's in need of a test. We're going to switch back to the loop antenna, which is kind of the best hope for these radios. And somewhere in this nest of wires is the thing I'm looking for. We are now hooked up to the big loop antenna. Had a chance the other day to compare my big homemade, not properly engineered loop antenna with a properly engineered small red commercial one that you've seen me in the shop with a number of times, the AN200, which I am not promoting. I'm not involved with any promotions for any company in any way. I'll tell you why I said that in just a moment. But when I compared the two antennas, my big one beats out the small one quite a bit. So there is something to be said about a great big, where's my other hand? Great big loop antenna. We'll go for 590. 590 is here. So it's 590 on the dial. Yeah, why did I say that? I'm not promoting anything. So as a video maker, about every 2 to 3 days I get an email from somebody wanting to promote their product on my channel. Offering me money, offering me terms, offering me a contract. I can tell from the emails they have no idea who I am or what I'm doing. It's just kind of like a broadcast email to YouTube channel owners. Maybe people with a certain number of subscriptions or subscribers or something like that. But you can see, you can watch videos of people who have gone down the dark path of getting involved with these organizations, companies that want to sell stuff on your channel. And I've stayed away from it because you know what? It's not about money. Well, it's not about money. That's for sure. My channel is not about money, and neither is doing all this work. This is not about money at all. It's about keeping my brain operating. Hey, where's the antenna? It's still off to the side. No wonder. There we go. Come on. Did I not plug this in properly? What did I hook up to the radio? Well, it's definitely hooked up. How come it's so silent? Oh. Sometimes you need to turn the volume up to make a radio work. I had it like this. So what we're finding out is I tuned this by reading the dial only. Let's make sure the antenna is good now. So different. Okay, let's see what this really sounds like. Hey, stand still. Don't be rocking there. There we are. Do this like this. Well, that's pretty darn close.
From waking up to rich lattes at home to taking your refreshing iced coffee to go, get your perfect, smooth, intense cup of Nespresso coffee every time.
Let's try it. It's picking up lots of stations. It's not even. Of course, the antenna tuning is not sharp with this radio. It must have something to do with the input impedance or the circuitry on the input, the antenna input, that it causes the antenna to not have, or the combination doesn't have a sharp peak, because that antenna often has a very sharp peak in it, but not with this radio. So, and what was I going to do? I'm going to go for 860. Am I looking at the right dial? Yes. Oh yeah, 860. I'm looking at I'm hunting around 840 instead of 860. Okay, let's just adjust the antenna here. My college antenna, broom handles. The popping sound or the clicking noise, that's interference, that's not the radio. That's something here at my house. Well, that's pretty darn good. There we are. 860. What do you got? Tripod smashing into things here. Right on 860. Excellent. That's very good. Hey, okay, I'm a happy guy today for some reason. That's good. Actually, happy is my go-to. I don't know about you or other people. I think for some people, sad and angry is their go-to, but happy is where I go. If I'm left alone, I go happy. There we go. Has to do with a philosophy I have, but I won't go into any of that. There we go. So what's going to happen now is this radio is going to disappear until the new plate arrives, which might be a month from now. I don't know how long it's going to take. Could be here in a few days, could be a month. Until then, I'm going to do other stuff in here and have some fun. Not that this isn't fun. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and keep watching my videos. See ya.